A Star is Born, starring Lady Gaga, Bradley Cooper, Sam Elliott, Andrew Dice Clay, Rafi Gavran, with appearances from a bunch of other people, follows the story of Ally, played by Lady Gaga, as she goes from being a nobody to a somebody with the help of an already established musician, Jack, played by Bradley Cooper. Now, through her rise to stardom, these two characters strike up a relationship that is both extremely beneficial but also really detrimental, as both people, especially Jack, have their own demons that they have to work through. So going into this movie, I can say that I personally was not familiar with the story for A Star is Born. I know that this one is like the fourth remake, and that Barbra Streisand and Judy Garland and somebody else have starred in other versions, but I had never seen the other movie, so I was pretty much going into this remake blind. So going into the movie, I thought that it would mostly center around Ally, Lady Gaga's character. But this movie is as much about Ally as it is about Jack, Bradley Cooper's character. And I have to say that one of the things that I loved about this movie was Bradley Cooper. He directed this movie, and I can tell you right now that I will definitely be expecting an Oscar nom for him for Best Director. But then him just as an actor, listen, okay, so I knew that Bradley Cooper was a good actor before this, but I can say that I now stand for this man. He is a chameleon through and through, and as soon as he opened up his mouth in this movie, I was completely sold. Bradley Cooper's character in this movie is someone that is dealing with a lot of past trauma, but instead of actually dealing with the things that he experienced in his life, he instead drowns those sorrows in liquor and drugs and honestly anything else that will help him cope. And you do find yourself extremely frustrated with him because not only is he hurting himself, right, he's also hurting Ally in the process. But at the same time, with that frustration, you also feel really deeply for him because you can see that he is aware of these problems and that he does want to get help, and he in fact does get help. But you know, addiction is a hell of a thing, you know, and it's just it's too much for him, and your heart just it hurts so much for him. And Bradley Cooper did an amazing job in bringing forth this complex character. So not only am I expecting a directing Oscar nomination, I will also be expecting a Best Actor nom for Bradley Cooper as well. Now, with Gaga. Bitch! So I knew that she wasn't going to do a horrible job in this role, right? Because I've seen her in other acting roles. So I knew that she had the acting chops. But girl, I did not know that you were going to bring what you brought. Lady Gaga, I will also be expecting a Best Actress nom for her at the Oscars because she fucking did that. Bradley Cooper fucking did that, and Lady Gaga fucking did that. Like, now, for one, I feel as though one of the reasons as to why she was so great in this role is because this is essentially Lady Gaga's story. Now, I don't know exactly everything that Gaga had to go through in order to become Lady Gaga, right? I don't know if she was with a partner that dealt with alcoholism and all that kind of stuff, but I know enough about Lady Gaga and everything that she had to go through to become who she is, to know that this is Lady Gaga's story. So I'm sure that this was a pretty therapeutic role for her. Besides that, just the character of Ally is just so relatable. I mean, I can't speak for you all, but I know that I have pretty big dreams. And so to see someone starting off as this nobody, having to deal with her own insecurities and fears and things that are holding her back, seeing her overcome that, to be who it is that she wants to be is something that I really relate with. Because starting this YouTube channel is something that I've been wanting to do for a while now. But I know that, there have been certain internal feelings and emotions and things like that that may have stopped me from not only doing this, but that have just stopped me from being who it is that I want to be. But I'm now, at a different point in my life where it's like, it's now or never. And so in one particular scene near the very beginning of the movie that we have seen in trailers where Jack is trying to pull Allie on stage, but she's like, no, I'm not ready, I can't do it. That scene for me, listen, I felt that scene, and that was actually the first time that I shed some tears in this movie. Y'all, side note, this movie is going to crush you. Okay, that's just it. That is a fact. It is going to crush you. But I was not expecting, okay, to cry. When I say cry, I mean like have an actual tear run down my face 4 times. 4 separate times in this movie, I cried. Bradley Cooper, I'm sorry, I just gotta go back to this. Bradley Cooper, I know that he's getting a director nom for this movie, but honestly, right now, that is who I want to win Best Director at the Oscars. Because, listen, any movie that can make me cry like that and on 4 separate occasions deserves. But anyways, getting back to that particular scene with Gaga, I really resonated with that moment because you can see just how extremely conflicted she is. That moment is going to change her life forever, whether for good or for bad. Seeing how, she's thinking to herself, should I do this? Should I not do it? If I don't do it, then, I'll forever regret this moment because I would just be letting my fears take a hold of me when I know that this is what it is that I want. It's just like, that was me, okay? And that still is me, but it's something that every day I am trying to work through because I know that at the end of the day, I am the only person that can make what it is that I want to happen. So yeah, I really resonated with Allie's character on a whole other level. Now, going back a couple of years, I don't know if you all know, but this movie has actually been in the works for some time now, with Beyonce at some point actually being attached to star in the lead role and Clint Eastwood attached as director. Now, I have to say, I'm actually pretty glad that that version never came to fruition because while I do love Beyonce, right, and putting aside the fact that we all know that Beyonce isn't necessarily the best actor, for this particular role, for the character of Allie, you needed someone that wasn't conventionally beautiful. And Beyonce, for all intents and purposes, is. Now, granted, with the proper lighting and makeup and stuff like that, I'm sure that they could have toned down Beyonce's beauty for the role, but this was Gaga's role, right? This is something that she was destined for, and I'm so glad that she got the role. I'm so glad that she hit it out of the park, and I'm so glad that, that people are loving her in this role because this was her role through and through. Now, another thing that I wanted to quickly touch on, just because, I had thought about this with another movie, is how they used time in the movie. Now, I don't know exactly how much time passes in the story itself, but we can say that it goes on for at least a couple of years. And I loved how it is that they used time. There was another movie that I had seen recently, White Boy Rick, that I felt like did not do such a great job when it came to the idea of time. And so with this movie, I love that, that they didn't have to put up what year it is at the bottom of the screen so that it puts us in a certain setting and that we understand where we are. We just understood where we were, whether through, hair being changed or more makeup being added to the face or, more people being around Allie and Jack or whatever, right? I love that they were able to set us within a specific time frame or environment without having to specifically outright say, hey, this is the year and this is where we are. You know, they were a bit more creative with how they set all of that up. All right, and so another thing that I'm sure that a lot of people are going to love about this movie is the music. Now, the music is fantastic. It definitely creates the right kind of emotions and feelings at the right times, especially at the end. Ooh. But I do have to say that if I were to go with my own, you know, personal preferences and taste in music, I don't necessarily think that this is going to be my favorite musical soundtrack for a movie, but I'm sure that if I do see the movie enough that it will become that in due time. But yeah, when I say that, I don't want for y'all to think that the music is horrible, because it's not. It's still really good, like I said, but yeah, just personal taste. I also loved how the movie was shot and all of the imagery. I thought that was all really good. I mean, I hate to go back to this, but just the entire direction of the movie is, to me, flawless. I know I said it already, but Bradley Cooper, you fucking did that. And then some. I mean, like, I don't want to jump the gun by saying this, because I know that, you know, Oscar season is really just now starting, and that there are going to be so many more movies that come out, and I'm sure that there are going to be so many more movies that I see that, just looking at the direction, that I love. But if Bradley Cooper campaigns in the right way, I think he's gonna take home the Oscar for Best Director. He's taking home an Oscar for something, whether it's Best Actor or Best Director. I don't know which one, but it is happening, okay? I believe, okay? I'm putting it out into the universe right now, because that man deserves. He really, I'm speechless. Like, I can't even put into proper words everything that I want to say about or to Bradley Cooper. He just phenomenal. Phenomenal. I don't know. And so yeah, I kind of feel bad that, like, that I don't have more specifically to say about the movie. While I do feel like I've said some stuff, you know, I feel like I haven't said enough. You know, I really try to go more in depth when it comes to these movies, but this movie was just so flawless to me that I feel like everything was great about this movie. I thought about it walking out of the theater that this is probably the best movie that I've seen so far in 2018. But after having sat on that thought for a couple of days now, I can say that for sure this is the best movie of 2018 so far, right? We still have 2 more months left in the year, so who knows what else we'll get. But right now, A Star is Born is the best movie of 2018. So if you have not seen that movie, I'm gonna need for you to first prepare yourself, because you are definitely going to shed some tears at some point in the movie, but definitely go see it, because this movie was just, it was just so good. I'm a sick fuck, I like a quick fuck. Ooh, I'm a sick fuck, I like. Wow, I am really, like, blending into my wall. Like, that is wild, especially down here. Look at that. That is insane. Oh well.